Then we come to our second speaker, Romain Gellet. Just pull up the slides. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Today I will have the nice task to present you how difficult, or not how difficult, some of the difficulties we are facing while developing an airborne project. So I'm working from Laborelec. Laborelec is an NG company, and it's the research and development department at NG, where we focused on innovative technology, improving new solutions and new systems for the future for energy markets. And I'm going to start quickly presenting why NG is in the airborne energy at the moment. So we have been, for the last 12 to 14 years, following closely what the industry was doing, where it was going, and which kind of solution they could provide. The idea at NG is that we want to understand the new technology arriving to the market, to be ready to have the right knowledge, the right resource, and the right competence to either use the technology or provide services around that technology. So we have been closely in contact with different technology developers over this last period, and the idea for us is to push for a pilot project to start to put our hands into the grease and do what we do best, is learning from operation of the machine, installation of the machine, and optimization of the machine. So within the R&D department, we focus a lot for the moment where I'm working in the wind energy sector, where we learn from optimization from part of the machine to the machine and to the wind farm in order to understand how to produce more electricity with the same technology to make it last longer in terms of lifetime and to reduce the cost either from the installation to the operation. So this is the reason why we are also into the airborne, following the airborne technology, because for us it represents valuable technology that could be used in the future. Within this approach we had and we followed different technology developers that are here in the room. They know that we have been in close discussion for potential project, idea of project that sometimes didn't go up to the end due to many potential issues such as delays, technology delay, also financial issues, and so on. We can list a lot. However, this doesn't mean that we have stopped looking for the new potential techno provider that has a very strong and suitable solution for us. And digging with the technology developers, we came with the idea that at NG, what we want is not only use one innovative technology. We want to make things more complicated because we're a bunch of engineers and doctors that love to make something simple too complicated in order to sell something that has the best solution in the world. Regardless that, the market is becoming more and more hybrid because more and more industry, and as presented before, let's say overseas markets, not in Europe or in the US, are requiring more and more energy access, which is also a market that we have in mind at NG. But the idea is to start by implementing a hybrid system that is here to test the kite, to test new type of batteries, to implement also from us a management system that deal with all the assets to optimize the electrical signal and the energy balance and the auto consumption of one site. It's on one hand to push for initially the industry to be decarbonized, so to reduce the CO2 emission from the industries, but also in the next step to push for decentralized area and to areas where the grid is weak, so to properly balance the grid, sorry. So the Aquilon project is composed of a redox flow battery, airborne system from SkyCells, solar energy, and the core system that manages all of that is an EMS doesn't look like an asset, but it's something that it will be the brain of the entire hybrid system, which is key for ENGIE at the moment. So we have something around 300 kilowatts of panels, 150, 160 kilowatts for the Airborne machine, and the redox flow battery that will be core to smoothen or at least level the energy output, which is something key with the Airborne technology. But we don't only use that battery to levelize, let's say, the output of the SkyCell system, but we use it to store and also potentially to play with the ancillary services with the grid, and also to try to understand how to optimize the lifetime of the different assets accordingly to the price market of the energy. So this is quickly in a nutshell, the Aquilon project. So we want to do it to demonstrate that we are able to do energy management system that will be the core of tomorrow hybridization of the industry and of the grid also. The idea is to learn from the technical aspect from the machine, so how it works, how can we optimize, and learn a bunch of data directly from the machine, and to make a project financially viable. So this is the key focus that we have. We will, of course, then start with making the machine and the hybrid system work, and then slowly introduce the forecast, slowly work with the ancillary services and optimization. It's not, the commissioning will take, well, not the commissioning, but the learning process, the learning curve of the entire hybrid system will take time, but the focus is to have a replicable system that can be copy-paste, use different type of renewable assets in the future, and either in a developed country for high industry or in upcoming markets that are overseas, abroad, or islands. And the reason why I'm here today is not to present you exactly how and what we want to do with the project, but it's to tell you all the issues and difficulties we are facing, because well, we can say it's the first rodeo we are doing with such innovative technology, and it's good, I think, to share what has happened and what are our concern as a project developer, as an asset owner that are here in the market basically to make money. So first, we have some struggle that I will present in detail regarding the permitting, and there'll be some fun. Yeah, we had some fun issue that now we can laugh about it, but wasn't at that time when we received the information. We have some discussion with the technology to see how it can reach the expectation that we had discussed at the beginning. And of course, all of that as a private company, we are always concerned by the economic and the financial aspect of the project. So yeah, let me start with the engineering concern. For I think that at the moment and at the stage of the project, we are not into difficulties. We have done all of the detail, the basic engineering. So by which I mean following the interface of the different assets, how these can be integrated into with the electrical, how these different assets communicate, and the EMS. On the EMS and the battery, we have the advantage of already having a test with the battery and the EMS already running now. So we are already learning how to optimize that, let's say, a brain of the hybrid system. So we are already ahead on that. So this is not, let's say, engineering, a technical issue that is delaying the project at the moment. What is delaying is the permitting. Yeah, quick story. I'm going to try to make it fast, but we started with one site and we submitted the permit, and we asked the authority, are we clear to go? Do we have any objections? No, nothing. We went for the permit. The permit was going on. And within the delay, within that process, we went to see the landowner to ask him for the lease of the land. So socially, let's say, he was very pleased, social impact, he was very pleased to see this kind of technology, very pleased to have it on his site. And nevertheless, he wasn't happy to know that nobody informed us that the highway was foreseen for the last 70 years on that exact same spot. I've been working like 20 years in the wind project development. I never seen such a bummer in a project. So basically, that kill the project. At first, we had many kills of the project along the way, but we always, like the Phoenix, recover from that and grow bigger. So this is something nice. And so we had to redo the site screening, find new sites, new pyramid presentation in order to mitigate and not to be facing the same issue. We went for a pre-permitting approach, which is a shorter permitting, theoretically of 3 months. And that should be binding for the permitting process. So basically, 18 authorities, 18 German authorities, are reviewing the entire project and give a thumbs up or not, to make it very, very clear. And on these 18 authorities, we had organized a round of questions around the table. One was missing, the military were missing, but nevertheless, we knew that we already had in the past a formal letter saying we don't have any restriction with the airborne until you stay below a certain altitude. And we have an official paper, so we weren't concerned. And we did the, let's say, round of questions for that pre-permitting. Everyone was happy, no major concern, everything was going smooth. Until 2 weeks afterward, we received a letter from the military saying, guys, sorry, but we have some radar like 50 kilometers away, and this might be causing some interferences with our exercise that we are doing, so we're giving you an objection. So that was the second kill for the project. They said, oh, come on. Bottom line is that we had a major delay first with the initial site. Then discussion with the military took like ages to find the right person, even though there were an internal miscommunication with them. I'm skipping a bit all the details, but bottom line, the guy we had in front, and SkySales can also confirm, said, I never said that we have any objections, but we just said that the limit altitude should be that, and that's it. Anyway, regarding the concern of the radar interferences, they explained us that they have some filtering system and approach in order to that are used with the wind turbines, so they don't have any concern with that. Yet, we will have a direct connection with them whenever we need to take off the system for flight, and if they need us to land it, contact straight, land it in less than 5 minutes, and that's done. So we have a mitigation measure. Everything was okay. Until civil aviation came back, say, okay, guys, sorry, but military says no, so as a principle, I'm gonna stick with them and say no, but they didn't know in the meantime that we had already an agreement and so on. And therefore, we have like 15 to 20 months of delay just because of miscommunication on a pre-permitting. We are not in the permit yet. We will submit the permit procedure within 2 months, theoretically. That is one thing. So yeah, I skipped the radar and the interferences, but basically the argument we have is that because we're also doing some internal study on the interferences on meteor radar with the turbine, what is blocking a radar doing some interferences is the metal part that are moving fast, which we don't have technically with the airborne. So that was presented, but yet we have to follow their rules and we will land the kite anytime. But the good thing is that when the project will start, we can do some tests directly to see how the kites interfere with their military radar that we don't know exactly what they do with or how it works because they didn't want to explain. But we can have, let's say, real results, and that is a positive feedback, I think. The second killer is that nice bird. We had to do the avifauna. We went for the standard wind turbine procedure because we are not doing a 5-year test site, but we do a 20-year project. So we had to follow the German rules, and of course we did the avifauna campaign on the different sites, so in the meantime. And it came out that we have different protected species within 2 kilometers, 2.5, and we have different nests that are abandoned around that site, but we have one specific nest of a red kite that is within 500 meters. And that is very blocking. In the wind industry, we said the red kite is a project killer. I mean, whenever you have a red kite, you just forget it, you move to the next stage, and you find a new site. Anyway, we have some potential mitigation measure to go around. So the first one was to buy 4 hectares of land within 2 kilometers around, and to basically invite the bird to gently come to live there. Which I don't know how is that possible, but that's in the law, so yeah. And the problem is that, yeah, you have to find the land, to lease it. By the time you find an agreement with an agriculture to find the land, to say, okay, you're not going to grow anything there, but we are paying for it. No. So that would have been like another 1 year of delay. But there is a potential curtailment that can be done only within the summer period. Basically, whenever some work is being done in the field, you shut down the system for 24 or 48 hours, accordingly to the species, the period you are in. And you can, therefore, implement your project with the bird that is potentially, because the bird hasn't come back yet, potentially living in the site. So that was, another big bummer in the project, and we had to revise a bit our vision on what to do exactly with that. So, it's fun to know that red kite migrates within summer and winter, like a lot of birds, but these guys have different nests. So basically, he might have like 6 or 7 nests around the site that we have, and might just choose one or the other. And we weren't lucky that he chose ours when we were doing the campaign. Otherwise, I mean, could have been in another site, and we wouldn't have had any issues with the birds. But it's also good to know that we will be able to do analysis with the avifauna, and it's also something that we do at Laborelec. We do some study on the attitudes of the birds around and surrounding a wind farm, and we also implement some visual curtailment system that stop the machine whenever some birds are observed into the wind farm area. So at the end of the day, it's another delay, but it's something that we will learn from. Since we have been applying the typical wind turbine procedure for the permitting, we also have to do the noise impact, the visual, and the shadowing impact assessment, which does definitely make sense. Yet on the pre-permitting feedback, they told us that shadowing and flickering effects won't be necessary since we're only with one machine, but it's good to bear in mind that we will also analyze that, because one machine is fine, but once you want to implement it for a 10 or 20 to a farm, basically, you will have a strong impact that will be funny to modelize and calculate what will be the impact on the ground on the different stakeholders living around. From the social impact, we have organized, Storengy and SkyCells have organized a town meeting presenting the project, and it's good to know that the major feedback of that was very positive, except from maybe a few negative questions. But let's say that overall, the entire community was happy and thrilled to have such project in their city. And I think that it's also the same feedback SkyCell is having from Clicksbull on the city, that, people from Clicksbull are kind of a thrill to have such project on their land. Last part, the trickiest one, because SkyCells is sitting there. And basically, one of the blocking points, also the delaying part of the project, is the time that the technology require to reach the objective of their roadmap. We have a clear idea of what are the advantages of the airborne technology. We know how it's work and what we can benefit from. Yet it takes more time than anticipated. It's a very complicated technology. They are not the only one facing these issues, and we definitely understand that. However, when we do the math, and because I have to present a clear business plan to the decision board on, that project can fly or not. When we revise a bit with the delay first from the permitting and all the issues, so the money and time that have been spent on that, plus the delay on the technology development, either from, let's say, the yield or the power curve, we end saying, okay, that is tricky, and that is posing certain doubt, not because of the technology, but on the entire project. However, we were very pleased to see that first, a power curve measurement was done, and not only the power curve measurement was done, but has reached what they were expecting in their roadmap, and therefore it's already a big milestone. And based from that power curve measurements, we see the, how do you call that again? The capacity factor. We see that the capacity factor is within let's say, the objective we have in mind. So it's, as with the other issues with the project, it is a setback, yet it's something that motivates us more to see, okay, it's difficult, but we can achieve it. It might take more time, but we will go for it. So they have all of that. We, of course, as NG, push for assets that we have guaranteed power curve and potentially a contract for service for the yield. And automation of the system for us is something very important. We need something fully automatic, no operator, otherwise it costs too much money. And we are also thrilled and excited to see that SkySails is doing a lot of hours of flight and tests, either at Clicksbull or Mauritius, and they are pushing to reach the full automation of the machine. We still have some discussion on potential maintenance, but maybe we'll talk about after. For the moment, it's kind of the unknown that is also putting a lot of weight down in our business plan. So quickly, let's say that at the management and budget-wise, it's a bit complicated. Yet we have, of course, increased in terms of budget for the permitting, for the avifauna, for some management parts. And the idea is that we want to go for the auto-consumption, maximize the auto-consumption of storage. So we, in the business plan, put the auto-consumption as an investment, and it's giving us some balance in the business plan. Yet we have these concerns that are coming, because whenever you talk with an engineer company for integration with a new technology, they just increase their price, margin, and contingencies like everyone, because when it's a bit unknown, we like to have some margin, and it's definitely fair. But that's raised a lot of concern and potentially put the project at risk. Thankfully, we have been applying that project to the innovation funds, the first one, and we have 60% of the capex, which is subsidized by the EU in terms of CO2 emission give back. So basically, they give us part of the capex, and then whenever we don't emit CO2, they pay us. So it's a CO2 avoidance strategy. And the thing is that we are not the only one in that position. Kite Mill, yeah. We have presented to the EU, they organize a workshop with all of the innovation projects, and everyone is stuck at the permitting level because of all of the unknown, because of different national regulation, because of different avifauna, environmental issues, social issues. And this is very much blocking every innovation project that, thankfully, that structure, so CINEA, is pushing upward this information in order to get in line with the Green Deal and push for a regulation that will help to implement innovation technology with the permitting within 3 or 4 months instead of taking 7 years, like I heard in Ireland with the RWE and Kite Power they had. The idea is to give back this information upward to the decision maker, so we can have a structure that help us to, not only with the Airborne, but that help us to go easier on the permitting and the development of technology. Otherwise, some projects are at risk, and in fact, we see a lot of investors that are withdrawing for some project and just dead before even started, which is a pity. They should be dead if the technology doesn't work, not if the permit is going well or not. Yeah. To do quickly, to show you quickly the delay we have at the moment, we are sticking at, we're supposed to have the COD, so the commercial operation date now. The machine should have been running when we started the think and to put the project on the paper. Because of the permit stopped in 22 and we changed and we introduced the permit in 23, it took 10 months instead of 3. So we are in 24 preparing the permit for the interior machine, and I think, I cross the finger, but this is I want to say the optimistic one. I think that we should have the permit by 25 to go through the financial investment decision and start with the construction and up to the COD. So theoretically by 26, 27, we will have the machine running. And yeah. maybe to wrap up a bit, all of this delay in the permitting, all of this delay in increase, let's say, of margin in the engineering part, and all of this issue is, and the setback in the technology is slowing down a bit the management at ENGIE that unfortunately I'm not part of, otherwise I would have pushed even more. I'm just the employee trying to push for such project. We have the project, we have the technology, we have the industry that is behind pushing, and we need to keep, I need to keep the guy up there motivated. And it's difficult today with such, let's say, output we have at the moment. And it's starting to increase some questions and doubts and so on. And the more you have to talk about something larger, the less you know it's going to happen. So that's the issue. However, we push for an internal revision on the strategy that ENGIE should have regarding the Airborne, and more specifically because we have the Aquilon project. And the result is that, yeah, we have that project, we are with the EU funding. The finance might not be good, yet we are willing to lose some money, not too much, but we go for the project and we push as far as possible to get some result, to get some feedback, to get some measuring data, vibration, LiDAR, output power, all of that. We want to have all of that. I want to see so many data to be analyzed that I'll be happy, and avoiding discussion with the permitting and stuff like that. I will finally do my job. And so basically, ENGIE wants to go for that project, wants to keep looking for airborne energy, because they see, and we pushed the fact that there is a big market coming. Hybridization of the industry, it's, yeah, industry has to be net zero, as mentioned before, yet we have to push for better hybrid solution that is not limited to the EU. We have, within the EU, many overseas areas that are struggling with energy access. There should be 100% renewable. I'm thinking about the French one by 2030, at least in the paper. Energy is very high there, so there is a big potential market within the EU overseas. And also, since we are all working a lot with other country, mainly with the World Bank on auctions for, sorry, not auctions, tender for a strategy for countries on how to electrify, how to implement the resource of energy, and which kind of resource for different countries in Central Africa mainly. We see that there is a big market. The technology is not there yet, but we, with the Aquilon project, will learn, we'll move forward with that, and we'll replicate that. So the idea is that ENGIE is sticking with the project. ENGIE is willing to keep working and pushing for the Airborne and to learn from it. Financially wise, it's tricky at the moment, but we will. And the idea is because we see that for the future, we want to be the first having the knowledge on the technology as a project developer, the knowledge as a service provider for integration, and the knowledge for the operation of the machine. This is the interest, well, not I have, but ENGIE has with that technology. And yeah, that concludes my presentation. Sorry, the slides weren't in line with what I was saying, but I hope you got the big picture. I don't know how with the time.
I think we should stop now.
Okay, sorry.
So thank you.
Thank you.
But there might be questions. So here, Christian.
I knew. Sorry.
Thanks very much for the interesting presentation. It's a bit yeah, sad to see that it takes so long, just the permitting. Just want to ask, is this Aquilon project now for you the one that you have to wait for before you do other projects? So you want to first know what's coming out of that before you do other things with Airborne Wind? Or would you be willing to start something else already before you get this project really running in 2 years?
There is an official answer and an unofficial one. The official one is that I stick with Aquilon for the moment. Yeah. And we have in mind a potential other site as a backup. Yet, the non-official one is that we need to be up to date with the technology. So we still follow other developers, and we are still in contact because of interest in terms of, for example, just the power curve. We could discuss with the other developers. So the official one is that we just focus for the moment to Aquilon, but the reality is that we cannot just focus on one technology by avoiding what's happening in the market. It doesn't make any sense. So we keep our radar open, let's say.
Thanks.
Okay, any other question?
Thank you. Well, good to see colleagues from ENGIE, of course, and great to see your appetite to put these systems also in, I'm guessing, via ENGIE Energy Access, one of our leading members.
It's not directly energy access, but the RGBU, so some business units, we have Central Africa,
Philip Michael.
Pacific.
No, that's well, that's certainly interesting. So let's have a coffee later. But my question is more the permitting issues. I was perhaps just a stupid question, but wondering if the fact that now the EU has this strategic declaration of, vital industrial interest, I forget the exact jargon, is that not something that would alleviate or at least hopefully keep you to your original long timeline?
Yes, it should, but the member state has to organize that in their country, respectively. So it takes time.
I see.
Yeah. Theoretically, now that it's not the green, I don't remember the exact name, but it should take less than 12 months to implement a renewable project and less than 3 for innovative projects. Yet the member states has to...
Months?
Yeah, months.
So some work to do then.
That's the idea, but by now the member state has to organize that in their legislation and organize the area of implementation, because they will be deciding which area will be dedicated to solar, wind, innovation, stuff like that.
I see.
So that's why it should take just 3 months. So previous environmental study will have been done, and when you arrive, you say, I want to do that here, just finalize the permitting.
Thank you. Well, fingers crossed.
Okay, any other question? Otherwise, we thank our speaker again.